Right, welcome back, Lelanders. For today's video, we're going to be doing a special episode on mycology. I've been dying to do an episode like this for years, so finally we got some good news to report. I just came back to visit my mom from up north for Mother's Day and checking out some of the plants that have been growing. And scouting out the yard, she says a new thing everyone's doing down south is allowing the weeds to grow in, like the whole yard, up until, I think what they say, the end of May. So I'm just checking out some plants that we normally don't see growing. A lot of birds have been in the area. So that isn't rhubarb. I was hoping it was. This one looks like garlic mustard. No, what happened was, if anyone hasn't seen my previous Facebook and social media posts, I've been collecting mushroom spores with my brother when I was cutting grass for his company. Here's more garlic mustard. And what I would do is collect some of the mushrooms before we ran them over, and for years I was trying to collect the spores and do a recipe to transplant them, and I never got it to work until this year. More garlic mustard. So now I'm careful where I'm walking, because apparently the Morel spores have taken. I was walking in my yard examining what kind of plants are growing, and lo and behold did I see Morels. I've got to be careful where I'm stepping, because my mom wants to transplant a Japanese maple because her other one died. And check this out. Pretty sure that's a seedling for a Japanese maple. So that was kind of neat, being able to see that. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can see better. So what I did is I put the spores, or the fresh Morel mushrooms, or no, I let them dry out on my table for like a day or two. Then I put them in a bag and added in some flour and some rainwater, shook it up, and then poured the spores around the whole yard in attempts to finding somewhere that the soil would be the right conditions that the mushrooms could take. And for years I was disappointed. I was like, oh, it's not going to work because it never took. Some people said you had to pour them in wood chips. Here's my Chinese chives. My mom actually planted these ones. So good because it's a chive. Tastes just like chives, but doesn't have the tube, so bugs can't crawl in it. It's a lot nicer. I find with regular chives, bugs tend to crawl in like ants and little tiny insects. So the chives are actually spreading. There's 3 more there, maybe even 4 or 5. Yeah, this one's a chive too. Nice. Yeah. So while I was admiring the chives, I was like, oh, what is that? Leaves in my yard? I'm like, wait a minute, that isn't leaves. So here, just a couple feet apart, we have Morel mushrooms. They finally took in my yard, or my mom's yard. This isn't that wild. So the trick worked, unless they grew here naturally on their own, but they never have in our whole lifetime of 40 years living at this property. Over 40 years. So some people say, oh, there's Morel mushrooms, maybe you should pick them, but I don't know. I find them so nice, I don't really want to pick them. Look at that, eh? My first ever Morel mushroom spores. So now I feel like I'm a mycologist again. It's been years since I've grown mushrooms. I always wanted to try the outdoor method, because I figured, hey, the outdoor method it's a lot more closer to nature. These do look like the ones that I transplanted from a property, so yeah, I think it is. So now I'm just going to take a quick look in the yard and see if we have any more. I think there's just those 2. Now I'm definitely going to be watching my step because holy, they could be growing anywhere. And who knows, maybe if I'm lucky those spores will keep spreading and spreading, and next thing you know the whole yard will be covered in morels. Oh, son. Now the only thing I can think of that might have triggered their growth is we did have a bit of a rainy season, big wet spell this spring. No sign of other morels yet. I wonder if my neighbors got them too. What a miracle. Oh, there's the rabbits. These are the rabbits that live under our shed, our trailer. Backyard rabbits. Sometimes they get friendly enough to come up and sit next to you, but you have to be really quiet. Since we're talking to the camera, they're just running away right now. The only downside to having backyard rabbits is they do tend to eat all the plants. If you have any good edibles that you're growing, consider them gone. And there's even a few groundhogs that moved in. Yeah, so if anyone hasn't seen it, the Lelanders do have a trailer now. I want to get it towed up north to put on my property there, but it's not looking too good to do that yet. So hopefully we'll have some luck. Maybe if any of the viewers have a trailer or a truck that they can pull a fifth wheel all the way up north, really appreciate the help. Alright, so yeah, that's it for the morel mushrooms. I don't see any more. And if anyone hasn't heard of morel mushrooms, they're like a delicacy that sell pretty well. Chefs love them. They only grow certain times a year, which makes them more rare. Yeah, we did it. Alright, so if you can like, share, and subscribe, really appreciate it. Make sure to check out your yard this spring and see if you can find any morel mushrooms growing around. Did I tell you what I saw, Mo? There's morel mushrooms that I remember I used to collect them working with Jana and tried to transplant them. Remember how I used to always collect those rare mushrooms when I worked with Jana and would bring bag loads of them home? And I tried to transplant them. Check out what happened. I tried to transplant them there on the hill. They didn't take there, but they took over here.
Because Ronnie did like the shade, didn't like the bright sun.
Yeah.
I should have planted that.
Here they are. They look like brains. That one.
Oh.
And this one. So they took, these things sell for like, I think, triple the price of weed, like $50 a gram or whatever, so they're really expensive. So lucky you said not to cut the grass.
Lucky I didn't mow before you got that.
Yeah.
Because I would have thought they were annoying mushrooms.
Yeah, those are the expensive ones. They're the delicacies that chefs want to buy.
Well, if there's two, then there's got to be more of them.
Let's hope. I took for years and years, I collected those spores and kept pouring them here, hoping that they would take. Yeah. And they're easy to identify because look, they look like brains. There's no other mushrooms that look like that.
I was going to ask you, should I make the bacon and tomato sandwiches? I think so.
Sure.
I'm hungry.
So there's a Mother's Day gift. The morel mushrooms grew for you. Oh, there's a third one.
See, I told you where there's got to be two.
Yeah, there's a third.
There's got to be more.
Wow.
So how do you can't transplant them?
Well, they said usually what you do is if you want to transplant.
Watch where you're walking, could be another one.
They say you pick them, you put them in a bag, and then, or you dry them, put them in a bag until the spores are active. add some flour, and then pour the flour and water all over where you want them to grow. You can't really pick them, but to transplant them.
So there's 3 now.
Yeah, 3.
There could be more that you don't see in the tall grasses.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank God you didn't mow.
Yeah, I was gonna mow my front row because they had it on the news that didn't want people mowing in May.
Yeah, lucky. For once, those crazy instructions the government did were good. Right, so 3 mushrooms. It's almost like they grew in a circle.
Look, you didn't see the other one.
Yeah. I just did a quick scan and thought, hey, I saw them all, but...
You need to put a marker where they are.
Yeah. No, the nice thing, they said, is once you get a patch established like that, you can pick them and they'll keep growing back year after year after year. So luckily...
Well, why are you going to leave it there? No.
Well...
And so what, can animals eat that?
Well, some might, but they got better stuff, like all the food scraps people leave around. They don't really care about wild foods. They've adapted to people food.
Okay, I did text Jane and ask him to bring his shop back.
And he said he could?
I never heard that. But I don't know, I'm hungry, so...
Yeah, let's go in. Alright, so that's it, viewers. My mom even helped find a 3rd mushroom. Who knows, maybe there's more around. I'll check in the hill.
Because the wind, we get high winds and it'll blow the seed.
Yeah, the spores everywhere.
The spores, yeah.
Wow, exciting.
Exciting.
Well, I tried for years to grow them. I never thought they would. Now this is the first year, finally.
Well, you see under the trees and
Yeah,
shade.
there's too much sun here, so they couldn't take.
Exactly. I don't know how much went up or down.
Too bad no more ground cherries grew. We'll have to get one from Canadian Tire and just plant it.
Look at how nice Teresa's plant is coming.
Oh yeah.
Normally, who is she talking to me?
No, I think on the phone maybe.
Oh. See, this one here, the mums.
Oh, mums. Yeah.
And normally, always when people buy them for you, they die.
Yeah.
This is the first time I stuck them in the ground.
So I guess I'll wait to do the pool until Jaden gets here with the shop vac, and then I'll shop vac all the water out.
You said that tree.
Oh yeah, I better not step on it.
Where is
Here.
it? Oh, right here.
Yeah, there he is. You can see that's a Japanese maple.
Yeah, right there. I can see. Oh boy, like I didn't mow.
Yeah, see, not mowing is actually better than I thought. You find plants you didn't even know you had. And here you're disappointed that that one was dying, but now you have a brand new one to take its place.
Look at how small that is.
Yeah. I'll check for any more.
I think I should have bought.
What's that? Yeah, be careful just in case it's ground cherries. I used to keep pulling them because I thought they were weeds.
In case it's what?
Ground cherry. Which one? That one?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that is. It's not a ground cherry. Ground cherry looks like a spade leaf.
Okay, I'm going to go see. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Jane.
Yeah. And you can microwave the chicken. I only had a little bit.
Yeah, but not have any bacon tomato.
If you want, I can make you a sandwich. Alright, I'll go in and make one. Alright, so 3 morel mushrooms, maybe more. 1, 2, 3.
I know how to be careful. I'm pretty sure if there's like 3 like that, I bet you 10 to 1 there'll be more.
Yeah, hopefully next year too.
We just won't see them yet.
Yeah.